IGCSE and O-Level Smart Biology M. Rashid Chatter 0346104457. 11. Gas exchange in human. Alveoli in the lungs are present in large numbers, provide a large surface area, have a thin surface, have a good blood supply and are well ventilated with air for efficient gas exchange. The parts of the human breathing system are nose, trachea, bronchus, bronchioles, alveoli, lungs, ribcage and diaphragm. The position of the intercostal muscles, external and internal to move the ribcage. The functions of cartilage in the trachea and the roles of ribs, intercostal muscles and diaphragm in the ventilation of the lungs. Inspired air contains a higher percentage of oxygen and a lower percentage of carbon dioxide and, usually, water vapor than expired air. Lime water is used as a test for the presence of carbon dioxide. It turns milky. The reason why inspired air contains a higher percentage of oxygen and a lower percentage of carbon dioxide and, usually, water vapor than expired air. As some of these substances are used and some are produced in the body. During exercise, the rate and depth of breathing increase. This supplies extra oxygen to the muscles and removes their excess carbon dioxide. During physical activity, increases in levels of carbon dioxide in the blood are detected in the brain, causing an increased rate of breathing. Goblet cells make mucus to trap pathogens and particles to protect the gas exchange system. Ciliate cells move mucus away from the alveoli. Exhaled air contains less oxygen and more carbon dioxide atmospheric air. Exhaled air is also saturated with water vapor and warmer than inhaled air. The respiratory system consists of the trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, and alveoli. Mucus produced by the lining of the air passages traps dirt particles and bacteria. Cilia move these impurities away the lungs. Air is drawn into the lungs as a result of changes in volume of the chest cavity. Ventilation of the lungs is caused by contractions of the intercostal muscles moving the ribs, and contraction of the diaphragm. Gas exchange with the blood occurs by diffusion in the alveoli. They are adapted for this function by having a large surface area, thin walls, and surrounding capillary networks. Physical exercise increases the rate and depth of breathing. Keywords: hydrogen carbonate, smoking, tar, carcinogens, nicotine, thrombosis, carboxyhemoglobin, bronchitis, emphysema, allergen, ventilation, photosynthesis, compensation point, energy, aerobic respiration, glucose, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water, metabolic rate, anaerobic respiration, fermentation, ethanol, lactic acid, oxygen debt, gaseous exchange, diffusion, oxyhemoglobin, surface area, cell membrane, lungs, thoracic cavity, sternum, ribs, intercostal muscles, diaphragm, pharynx, larynx, trachea, epiglottis, bronchi, bronchiole, alveoli, pleural membrane, inspiration, expiration, total capacity, vital capacity, tidal air, residual air. Glossary. Cilia, minute hair-like projections from the surface of certain cells, e.g. paramecium. Cilia flick back and forth, causing movement of surrounding fluids. Diaphragm, dome-shaped sheet of muscle at the base of the thorax. It is part of the mechanism that ventilates the lungs. Emphysema. IGCSE and O-Level Smart Biology M. Rashid Chatter 0346104457. Thinning of lung tissue leading to rupture of alveoli. Caused by irritation fumes such as cigarette smoke. Gas exchange, the process by which an organism absorbs oxygen from the air in exchange for carbon dioxide, which is released into the air. This takes place in respiratory organs such as lungs. Intercostal muscles, muscles between the ribs that raise the rib cage during inspiration, breathing in. Larynx, voice box. Thorax, of mammals, the cavity within the chest that contains the lungs, heart, and main blood vessels. Trachea, the windpipe. Alveoli, bubble-like air pockets at the ends of the air passages in lungs. They are surrounded by blood vessels and are concerned with gaseous exchange. Pleural cavity, the fluid-filled space between the outer surface of the lungs and the inner surface of the rib cage. Ventilation, the movement of air or water across a respiratory surface such as a lung or gill, which enables gaseous exchange to take place. Short MCQs with right answers. 1. A student investigated the effect of temperature on respiration in yeast. The diagram shows the apparatus they used. 2. Which substance turned the indicator from clear to cloudy? Carbon dioxide. 3. The table shows some of the changes that occur during breathing. Which changes occur to cause inspiration? X, Y, and R. 4. What is the pathway of expired air as it travels out of the body? Alveoli, bronchiole, bronchi, trachea. 5. The diagram shows the activity of some yeast cells in a sugar solution. Which statement explains what happens to the lime water? The lime water changes from colorless to cloudy due to the presence of carbon dioxide. IGCSE and O-Level Smart Biology M. Rashid Chatha 030046100457. 6. In some animals, gas exchange occurs through the skin. What are the most likely characteristics of the skin in these animals? 7. The diagram shows an alveolus and part of a blood vessel. The arrows show the direction of movement of gases. 8. Which arrows represent oxygen only and carbon dioxide only? 9. What is shown by the bar chart? Smoking in pregnancy increases the risk of low birth weight. 10. Some students were each given the apparatus shown. They placed the mouthpieces in their mouths and then gently breathed in and out through the apparatus 10 times. Which statement describes what happened when they breathed in and out? When they breathed in, air from the room bubbled through test tube T and the lime water remained clear in test tube T. 11. Which is a function of the cartilage in the trachea? Prevents the trachea from collapsing. IGCSE and O-Level Smart Biology M. Rashid Chatha 030046100457. 12. What are the properties of an efficient gas exchange system, assuming it has a good blood supply? Large surface area and thin walls. 13. What is the function of cilia in the trachea? Moving mucus. 14. A girl holds her breath for 30 seconds, breathes out and then breathes in. Compared with the air she breathes out, the air she breathes in contains less carbon dioxide and water vapor. 15. What is the path of carbon dioxide as it leaves the lungs? Alveolus, bronchiole, bronchus, trachea. 16. How does oxygen move from the alveoli into the blood? By diffusion. 17. The table shows the concentration of gases in a blood vessel and in an alveolus. Which row shows the conditions that cause a gas produced in respiration to diffuse from the blood vessel into the alveolus? Gas. Produced concentration in blood vessel, concentration in the alveolus, carbon dioxide, high-low. 18. Which shows a change that occurs during ventilation. During the process of expiration, thorax pressure increases, thorax volume decreases and air moves out. 19. What is an example of diffusion? Oxygen moving into a red blood cell in the lungs. 1. Which is not involved in removing the oxygen debt after a human has been exercising. Aerobic respiration of alcohol in the liver. 20. Which shows the features of gas exchange surface in humans. Have large surface area and thin wall. 21. What cells produce mucus? Goblet cells. 22. which is a function of the cartilage in the trachea. Prevents collapse of the trachea. 23. During physical activity, what stimulates the brain to increase the breathing rate? Increased carbon dioxide concentration in the blood. 24. What is the site of gas exchange in humans? Alveoli. 25. Which sequence of changes take place when we breathe in? Diaphragm contracts, volume of thorax increases, pressure in the lungs decreases. 26. Compared with inspired air, which description of expired air is correct? It has less oxygen and more carbon dioxide. 27. What causes the air pressure in the lungs to decrease during breathing in? A contraction of the external intercostal muscle and diaphragm. 28. What are the functions of the diaphragm and the cilia in the human gas exchange system? Diaphragm cilia contracts to cause breathing in, carry mucus to the throat. 29. The table shows the percentage composition of three gases in atmospheric air. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen. 20. One 0.04. 78. What is the composition of the air breathed out by a person? Oxygen percent, carbon dioxide percent, nitrogen percent. 16 for 78. 30. During exercise, receptors detect a change in the blood and cause the breathing rate to increase. What change do the receptors detect and where are they found in the body? Change in blood site of detection. Carbon dioxide increases brain. IGCSE and O-Level Smart Biology. M. Rashid Chattha 030046100457. 31. The table shows the approximate composition of air breathed out by a mammal. Gas air breathed out percent. Nitrogen 80. Oxygen 16. Carbon dioxide 4. Where did the nitrogen in the air breathed out come from? It was in the air that was breathed in. 32. What makes alveoli suitable as a gas exchange surface? Large total surface area well supplied with blood vessels. 33. Which row shows the correct combination of muscle contraction and the pressure in the thorax when breathing out? Internal intercostal muscles, external intercostal muscles, diaphragm, pressure in thorax. Contracted, relaxed, relaxed, high. 34. What describes the actions of the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm when we breathe out? External intercostal muscles, internal intercostal muscles, diaphragm. Relax, contract, rises. 35. Muscles are responsible for the ventilation of the lungs during breathing. Which row describes their action during the inspiration of the air? Diaphragm muscles, external intercostal muscles, internal intercostal muscles, contract, contract, relax. 36. Which actions increase the volume of thorax during breathing? External intercostal muscles, internal intercostal muscles, muscles of the diaphragm. Contract, relax, contract. 37. What are the approximate percentages of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmospheric air? Oxygen percent, carbon dioxide percent. 20.0 for 38. When the external intercostal muscles contract, how do the pressure and the volume inside the lungs change? Pressure, volume. Decreases, increases. IGCSE and O-Level Smart Biology. M. Rashid Chattha 030046100457. 12. Respiration. Respiration is the chemical reactions in living